Hello and welcome to Man with a Mentor. I am the man, Matthew Bernard, your host, and I am here today with Matt Herman. So it's not confusing at all that we're both named Matt, is it?
Not in the slightest.
No, we're not going to get confused. Actually, it's probably easy because if anyone ran in here and yelled Matt, we could both answer and we'd be fine. Now, you may be wondering, what is a show called Man with a Mentor about? Well, I talk to people about their careers and the various things that they've done, how they've gotten to the positions that they are in, and, you know, all the good stuff of forging your career path, because careers can be a roller coaster. So you better buckle up. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, Matt, I'm going to introduce you as a content creator. Would you call that an apt title?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, for sure.
All right. And how long, have you been doing that, and in what capacities, and what's, the favorite thing?
Yeah, so getting started, I mean, I did content creation for a hobby for years, even prior to social media generation, which really saw an uptick on content creation, and a lot of people who never even considered it as an option are now involved in it. But when I was a kid, I was just learning how to do PowerPoints, and I was using a lot of Windows Movie Maker to make movies. And then in high school, I got a YouTube account in 2006. And so the early days of YouTube, man, were a lot different than they are now. Right. It was kind of like the Wild West. And there were so few videos on there at that time. Like, any video you posted got a lot of views because there were only so many videos possible to watch. So it was great for generating content. If you started then it was, and if you were consistent, I wasn't as consistent back then as other people, but you can get pretty far pretty quick. But fast forward now, I'm a content creator for a living. I do content creation for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, and
Do they tell you what to do? Or do you come up with ideas and they say, we love that, or we hate that?
So the way I prefer to work is someone to just tell me the need of the organization, and then I work to create that need in my way. So we need to get more members. All right, how can we reach more members? Should I do a video, social post, marketing campaign, things like that? Right.
Now, do you do things for people that are members of the Chamber of Commerce, or it's all for the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
About the Chamber of Commerce?
Right, the latter, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's all internal operations. You can't contract me as part of the chamber membership, but you can otherwise.
Right. I want to contract you.
Okay.
So tell me, earlier you worked in news production.
Yeah.
And you did that for a while, right?
Yeah, I started off as an intern on the Living Dayton show, and that was probably 2013.
Okay.
2012, 13. Yeah, and then I got to meet a lot of celebrities, because a lot of the stand-up comics would come in on our show that would be touring, and so people like Rob Schneider, the Wayans brothers.
All right.
So it was really interesting to meet all those sorts of people, and that was kind of like my first foray into meeting a lot of people in the Dayton area. People from Sixa would be regulars, and then I worked my way up to getting hired on in a lot of different positions.
All right. Now, did you get to pitch ideas for I want to do something about this event or this business or this person who's doing unusual things, or bring them in, or and they said yes or no, and did they just give you free reign to shoot things and edit it together, and who looked at it?
Some things were a lot of free reign, other things were very calculated. So I had my own show for a while, a news show, not a lifestyle show like Living Dayton was, where we have cooking segments on that and things like that.
Sally.
This is Sally Taylor,
right,
yeah, exactly. So when I was in news, it was a lot more, it wasn't as fun as that, but I could always find opportunities to do some fun. But we would have a news meeting in the morning, and that's when everybody discussed content ideas. And so I would put my friends on the news a lot, because I'd be able to find a way to make it relative to what we were looking for. Again, this is the story. This is the type of thing we're looking for. How can we make it more relative to our viewers and humanize it? And then I could always find ways to do that. Plus, I was making the show anyway. We always have a kicker at the end of the newscast, which is like the lighthearted thing after like terrible, events you've been watching for the past 30 minutes.
Like who got stabbed today.
Right.
Or what, yeah.
So you always want to lighten up the end of the newscast with a kicker story, and I got a lot of free reign in that, trying to find something fun to put in.
Oh, right. Did you ever do something and you were like, this is awesome, and they were like, cut.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Like, does that like boil your blood, or you just learn not to care? Or
you as a creative, you learn that not all of your ideas, even though you think they're great, fly. And so you just kind of have to have a thick skin. Like even this week, yesterday, I had a joke that I wanted to do. We had some puppies from Four Paws for Ability to come in.
Oh, right.
And they need to be socialized because those dogs end up being resource dogs and helping people with disabilities. So the social media posts I want to do had like because we network as an organization. That's one of our biggest exports. And so I had a networking joke about the dogs, doing some quality networking with some newest recruits for Four Paws for Ability. And it didn't make the cut of things. It didn't make the final approval. The joke wasn't gotten, but I liked it. I thought it was clever.
Right. I thought you were going to say you had like a Cruella de Vil joke or something.
No, I've
like that's not right, Matt. That's something I would say. This Matt would say that. You not so much. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. If you don't take risks, and if what you do is a lot of if yourself is your brand and you don't have that's your service, it comes from your personality and articulation and things like that, you do have to take risks sometimes, because even if the risk may have repercussions, you still get yourself out there and known. Right. And if that's the most professional thing I could say, probably not, but I think you always have to do risk assessment and getting further than where you are.
Right. Well, let's go back. So, like, as a little pumpkin, little Matt running around, like, did you always think, like, this is what I want to do? Well, YouTube might not have even, like, existed. How did you think, like, I want to make content? Like, in any way, every way, a specific way? Or...
Yeah, I've always enjoyed making people laugh, and I've always enjoyed creation. It's being able to create something out of nothing has always been intriguing to me, and so it started off just like interesting things I can do with video editing and cooler ways to do things, cooler effects, and at the same time making someone laugh. That was always the goal for me. To impress them with a video and to make them laugh. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, those are two good things.
Yeah.
If you can do those, I think you're 90% of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to school. Where'd you go to school, and how did you figure out, like, to get on this path that you're on now? Like, who kind of helped you?
So I think one of the biggest impact someone has had as far as mentoring, and so there's a professor at Wright State. I graduated from Wright State,
right?
And he's a businessman. His name's Travis Greenwood. He taught one class at Wright State, and then he dedicated his salary back to the communications program, and that was interviewing. So it was a class on resume writing and interviewing, and then we did mock interviews at the end of the class. And I cannot tell you how helpful that was in navigating job interviews and knowing what to put on a resume.
Oh, right.
I'm almost sorry that that's not like a staple like gen ed. You got geology, which is, don't get me wrong, I love rocks, but like, how is that going to help you get you a job outside of being a geologist?
Right. Does everyone have to take geology at Wright State? What do you say?
Some sort of science.
Right.
I took geology, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. But there's no class on like what to do once you're out of this place, like to get a job and market yourself and say the right things and do the right things.
Yeah, I think that could be implemented a lot, especially with how much you're paying for school. You want to have a clear transition outside of school.
Right.
And there's a lot of programs in place to help that, but it still seems like it's tough to get a job outside of school after incurring a lot of debt.
Right. Did you well, this this is going to sound ridiculous, but I keep hearing in today's world, because I'm old, that a lot of young people, they want to like graduate and they don't really want like entry level work. They don't want to like pay their dues. They kind of want to walk in like and be treated as equally and not have to get coffee or do whatever. And yet like that seems to be like what you have to do in a way. Like, did you have to go through some jobs or some times where you were like, you know, if I do this for one more month, I'm going to like punch somebody in the neck, or
I don't
like,
think
how did you get through like that time? And
I was hanging out with Rob Schneider. That's how I was able to, the Wayans brothers and people like that. No,
well, that's better than, you know, some people's initial, you know, start.
Right. I mean, I worked for a year unpaid as an intern, and I don't think that system is necessarily fair. I don't support that system as much, but I mean, I definitely had to do it.
Right.
And I think it's industry specific too. Like if you're an accountant, you probably have to do you can probably get a job as an accountant outside immediately as soon as you leave school, because you went to school to be an accountant, you know how to do the numbers, people need accountants, boom. But if you're trying to do it in a more competitive industry, then that's when you have to go the extra mile and do a lot of things for free. Or instead of saying you have to do things for free, I would rather put it, you have to be creative how you get your foot in the door.
Right.
And be aggressive about it.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you have to be a certain amount of aggressive for any sort of success.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You have to demonstrate your value to people. That's kind of what interning is anyway. You develop some professional skills, and then if you're meeting people outside of other industries, and then as you're growing your network, people can see you being a hardworking person. Maybe they like your personality or your way of thinking, and perhaps think that you'd be a good fit on their team.
Right. Yeah, I've talked to other people who've worked in film or creative, and yeah, you kind of have to like segue like into the team and not like break any weird social faux pas, and then get people to be like, oh, he's cool. And then the next thing they're doing, they invite you to the next project, then the next one, and then you're like, oh, I'm in this now, you know? So I think a lot of people don't really like understand that. They want to like walk in and say, hey, I'm new to this, I wanted this, how can you help me? Instead of like saying, I got to help them. And then after I've helped them a while, they're going to love me and take me along on the journey. So yeah, so do that, people. Do the second thing I just said. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. So there's like a lot of interesting things on there regarding unusual instruments and facial hair. Like, how did those two things like come to you as things to make videos about?
Sure. It goes back to what I initially just wanted to do. I learned how to play the jaw harp when I was 16 because someone came on stage at my school and played it. If you don't know what a jaw harp is, it's basically that sound you hear in Tom and Jerry that goes like boing, 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 boing. Oh. But you can manipulate it with your mouth, so you can do lots of different tones with that initial sound.
Oh, right.
And it really entertained people. I was blown away by the entertaining value of it immediately when I saw it. But it's so small, I could bring it places, and I'd entertain people in school with it. And then I made some videos with it. I did a Crazy Train on the jaw harp. So I was like, boing, 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 boing. And I do like the solo, which is really quick and everything.
No,
and
like, I mean, where is this thing played in general? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why isn't it played in, not orchestras, but like, why isn't it seen more in various musical forms?
Yeah, I think as a pop instrument, it's not necessarily a staple. Although with the rise of the electronic music scene, I'm hearing it in a lot of electronic songs now because it's got that analog techno vibe to it.
All right.
But historically, a lot in like Eastern Europe and places like Ukraine and Russia. Really culturally significant there, and then in the U.S., bluegrass.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I would have not thought of that.
Yeah, big bluegrass instrument.
All right. So what else? Like, so we've learned about that. Like, are there, like, do people send you like a weird guitar from Swahili or something, and then you're like, what do I do with this? Or do you like figure out how to do it on your own, or do you get training and then you show people in your video, or do you just wing it and see what it does? Or
luckily, I'm intuitive when it comes to learning instruments. I haven't like demoed anything live off like out of the box before. I usually like practice it a bit, but I've definitely reached out. So so going back to the marketing aspect of this, we talked about this a little bit before we started rolling on the podcast, but so I created videos on my own for fun, and they did well. And so once you have something that does well, then that's when you can start reaching out to other people. Now, did a lot of people reach out to me? A couple did, yeah, but I've done a lot of like fishing myself. Right. So I'll go look for manufacturers of jaw harps, and whichever one I think is best, that of the ones that message me back when I say like, hey, I have this video, performs really well. I'll send them like the analytics of it and the demographic and everything like that. And then, to showcase that I do have an audience, then they'll start reaching out and then offering things. And then you can do affiliate marketing where you can use like a promo code in your name and save 10% at the same time. And then you get a portion of that deal.
All right. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And to answer your question about facial hair instruments, I love playing weird instruments. Right. I just grew a mustache for fun, like in 2016. And then I shaved it off at the end of the video. It turns out the video did really well. So
no.
I grew it back.
I thought you might like have one today. Like if you're just listening to this, you have no idea what we're saying. But if you're watching this, I was expecting some weird facial hair. But you're like clean shaven.
Yeah.
And you look good.
Thank you.
So, but like, I mean, did you like just start growing a mustache and think like, I can do this? Like this looks good.
Yeah. I just thought it'd be fun. And it was. So a lot of work though. I grew it back again in 2020 when the pandemic hit, because I could just wear a mask all the time. And then I decided, all right, this video does well. I could market facial hair products, and I could just grow it out for a year or two and then shave it off, and then I could have that perpetually coming in on my YouTube channel.
Right.
So it's like an investment in my face, really.
Right. I don't, I would have never thought like I can grow hair on my face and like do videos and make money. And
you can do anything and make money, my friend, as long as you can find an audience for it.
Right. That's important. Say it again.
You can do anything to make money, my friend, as long as you can find an audience for it.
Yeah. I think that's the crux of this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
We were talking earlier about videos and how much social media efforts you have to put in, and you said something along the lines of like, how much more do I have to do to get this video from whatever views to X views? And that is the question: is how much more do I have to do to make that? And that's really what content creation and marketing for that is about. It's deciding what other levels, what are your channels, what are options, what different types of media can you do, and going from there.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I did a web series that I wrote and produced and co-directed and co-starred in, and some episodes were like, 1,000 hits, and then one was, frankly, the most sexually like out there. I mean, it wasn't porn.
Yeah, I looked into that a little bit.
It wasn't porn, but it was definitely, on the side of being, like not show. It was like a Three's Company kind of moment.
Yeah.
Of like not seeing what you think you're seeing, if you know what I mean. And that one video got like 250,000 views. I think because people were like, "Oh, look at this! Oh my God!" And then they shared it or something. And I'm like, "Oh!" And then I expected everyone to then watch all the rest. And then I got an uptick in a few of the other episodes, but I didn't ask for that. It just all of a sudden I just was getting things saying like, you've hit this many views, and I was like, I have done nothing for this.
Yeah,
so
that'll happen.
Yeah,
that's what happened with my jaw harp video. It was, I had a couple other ones. They were just sitting at like 1,000, just like this one was, but it got linked to something, and then once that happens, once YouTube decides your video is related to this video, then enough people watch it, engagement's a big thing on content.
Right.
Commenting weighs more than just likes, and then algorithms see what the engagement is, and then that's how they determine if your content is good enough to show to more people. So it's like a snowball. What's more
right.
batches, really. Like
Right.
it'll show it to this amount of people, and a certain amount of people engage with it well. It goes to the next batch, which is larger, and then the next batch, and then the next batch, and that's how that works.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like on iTunes. If you like a certain artist, and then they'll say, we suggest,
Yeah.
and they give you like 6 other names. And you're like,
Right.
I hate that band. Or whatever. Like, why would you suggest that to me? I get really, but then it's giving me names of things I've never heard of. And I've been like,
Yeah.
I do like that. How do they know?
I listen to my Discover Weekly every week on Spotify to see what new stuff it has for me. I love that feature.
Right.
Because it saves me the work of having to dig and find things.
Right. Because I don't listen to the radio. Like,
Yeah.
does anyone listen to the radio? Anybody out there? If you listen to the radio, like, let me know. What is your channel? Like,
It's if you just Google, if you go into YouTube and type in Matt Tastic, that's 2 words. So, MATT, hit the space bar, Tastic, TASTIC. You can find mustache and music related videos.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, you have to use the products to train it and keep it going. So what I'm
Right.
saying is, I was super concerned about that, but I was.
Right.
It wasn't as big a deal as I thought it was.
Oh, good. Yeah. Maybe I just need to commit.
If you had it going downwards, though, it'd be a lot different.
Right, yeah.
100%, you'd have that problem. So
No, I don't want any problems.
yeah, this life is so much easier. I'll tell you. I recommend
Right.
this. I recommend
Right.
this over that.
So you're like a shaving mentor in a way.
Yeah, I guess I've always gone through periods of looking really clean cut and more fun, and then back and forth through that throughout my life. I'm in the very clean cut phase right now, and I can't really see myself straying away from this ever unless I like am successful on my own, and then I can like have some sort of cool thing. Like I don't know what that would be. Some cool
Right.
haircut, some cool hair color,
Right.
But
Right.
that wouldn't be while I was working for somebody trying to represent myself as professional.
Right.
Right.
That
would be on my own and my part of my brand.
Right. Now, do you see yourself? We'll kind of wrap up with this. Like, do you see yourself like kind of on your own freelancing, or do you like having a specific place to go every day and something to do, or do you?
Yeah. So
where do you see your life in your 30s and 40s, or?
yeah. So my path is, I love health insurance. That's always been a big thing for me, and I've loved having the opportunity to grow in an environment like the one that I'm in right now, and work on my marketing skills and learn from people who who also do that, or just learn various just good professional qualities and tactics. So that's definitely been super great. I would love to be on my own for sure. I love speaking to people. I love speaking in front of crowds. I'm always doing interesting things. Like I'll do music gigs. I learned how to make balloon animals, so I'll do those sometimes.
Oh.
I was a national champion mascot in college.
What?
So
What was his name? Wolfie son?
Rowdy Raider. Yeah, don't tell anybody that I spilled that, but I'm talking to you guys. But
it's just here on the internet forever now.
Yeah. But I'm doing a mascot clinic as well for a local high school. And so, any sort of way I can like use the abilities I have that are maybe not necessarily standard corporate abilities, I love those opportunities to do that.
Right. That's awesome. All right. And then we're going to plug you one more time. So tell people your YouTube website one last time.
Yeah, it's Matt Tastics. That's MATT. Hit the space bar. TASTIC. Then on TikTok, it's Matt_Tastic.
There we go. All right. And, you got to love his station, his channel, not station.
Oh.
You got to use the right words. You got to use your channel, subscribe to his channel, and then you're watching this, so you should subscribe to Man with a Mentor. Also, maybe with a man that can speak clearly. And because I feel like I've had a little stuttering situation
What
with today's episode.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, good. Okay, neither did you out there. All right, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for watching Man with a Mentor with my special guest Matt Herman.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
You're welcome, Matt. Thanks again. Bye-bye.